Hello. 1, 2.
Hello, friends!
Okay, so I am on my friend's boat, and he just got this boat to live on. He said, no more apartments, no more living on the land, I'm gonna live on the water, and here we are. I have asked him to give us a little boat tour, tell us a little bit about why he decided to purchase a boat in the first place, and yeah, here he is.
Welcome aboard.
That is Duncan.
Hi Ben, how's it going?
All right, so we are on the boat. Why don't you first start by telling us, who you are quickly, and then why you bought the boat?
Sure. My name is Duncan. I am a New York native like Ben, and I'm actually just moving back to the East Coast after finishing my master's degree. And I thought it was time to do something differently, and this felt like sort of the perfect time to do what I've thought about doing for a while, which is buy a boat. And yeah, so I did. This is the Ansible, and welcome aboard.
That's awesome, and I'm sure people are wondering, why a boat? Why not just rent an apartment in New York City? Why not stay with your parents? Why a boat specifically?
So, I've never liked having to move around all the time and have to buy new stuff, move all the things I've accumulated to a new place, sort of get used to the vibe of a new home. And I love living by the water, and I think I always will. And the benefit of a liveaboard boat is you can build a home and take it with you wherever you go. And so if I end up in Boston or New York or Philly, I can bring my boat and live there. And that has a huge appeal to me as a more permanent residence and the freedom associated with a boat that an apartment doesn't have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure that we're gonna get a little bit more into the the reasoning behind buying a boat, also the economics behind living on a boat. Yeah, Duncan and I have talked about that a lot, and it's fascinating. It seems like living on a boat is pretty practical compared to New York City rents, which of course are very high. Why don't we just start off doing a little tour in this main living area, and then we'll go back, and then we can do the front of the boat.
Yeah, so this is what we call the galley on a boat. It's really the kitchen area, the eating area, and it actually has managed to fit pretty much everything you need into a compact space. You have your gas stove, there's a propane tank up on top, folds down into a cutting area. You have a small workable sink, you have a fridge, which actually can be either gas-powered or electrically powered, depending on what your preference is. And you have a little toaster oven down there. Honestly, this is enough for me. If you're careful with your space, this is a lot of space. I actually used to live in Japan for a bit, and my kitchen there was half the size of this kitchen. I think basically anything you could cook in an apartment, you could cook here. I mean, you have a stove, you have a fridge, you have a toaster oven. I guess you don't have a microwave, but I think any good chef doesn't use a microwave.
That's fair. So you just bought the boat how many weeks ago?
6 weeks ago
6 weeks ago. And you're not officially living on it yet, but your plan is to move onto it officially next spring.
Next spring, correct.
Yeah.
It's going to be wintered here. So actually in 2 weeks, they're going to take it out of the water and store it on land for the winter while I do some work on it. While I varnish the hull and paint the hull some.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us about this area over here?
So most liveaboard boats try to be very ergonomical with their space, and most spaces have more than one use. So this is the main seating area in the galley. As you can see, it's a fold-out table. Actually can rotate a little bit, and fits a good number of people, and there's additional seating over there. And it's already actually a lot of room compared to even a normal small apartment in New York. But it doubles as another sleeping space if you lower it down here. Get it all the way down. It actually fits right here.
That's awesome.
And you can do things like put this cushion here and have a almost twin-size bed. We actually had a bunch of Ben's friends up here 2 weeks ago, where we had 11 people stay on the boat, including two on this twin full-size bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and include some footage there, but we had 2 people there, we had 1 person there, we had people in the back, people in the front, and then I actually slept on the roof of the boat, just in the freezing cold. So hopefully I have some pictures there, I'll include them.
Smile for the camera.
Don't confuse them.
Can I have a water over there?
There's some waters under the thing.
You don't have...
1, 2, 3, go.
Hello, my friends! Wow, you guys
Sam is here.
suck.
Again.
Sam.
Yes.
All right, we just woke up. It is 6:45, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just spent the night sleeping right out here. Take a look around. We're out here in the beautiful nature. All right. During the day, is your plan to work here? So once you're fully living on the boat, how much time do you actually plan to spend on the boat on a given working day in the week next year?
Yeah, next year. I mean, my hope is that I have a job or I'm at school such that I can go somewhere to work during the day.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the weekends and, you know, at night, in the morning, I would love to be able to sit out here and work on my laptop, or maybe even rig my desktop up to a monitor somewhere here. Most marinas do provide internet, but there's a good chance I'll have my own 4G modem. So that even if I'm not at the marina, if I'm out at a mooring like we are now, or if I'm out at sea, not too far from the coast, you could have internet and still do work and things like that.
Cool.
You know, so storage is a big deal on boats. There's every area that's not being used for seating or walking is storage. So we have storage under the benches, we have storage, everything that is either storage or living space. There's no wasted space.
Right.
I'll point out some other interesting storage locations.
And you plan to move all of your life's personal belongings onto
Yeah,
this
for
boat?
the most part. There's some things I'll keep at my parents' house that have always been there, but I actually have most of my stuff in Michigan still in a storage locker, and after COVID I'll be moving it back out here. And I hope to get most of it here. I'm definitely going to downsize some things and get rid of junk I don't need, but I definitely want my collection of books out here and clothes and a few decorations and paraphernalia.
Nice.
So to make it
Cool.
feel like home.
And then why don't you tell us quickly about how you drive the boat?
So there's actually 2 locations to drive the boat from. This is the more traditional looking steering wheel. I guess this is the throttle, and this is the forward, neutral, reverse stick. You can throttle however you want, and then you just shift it into forward or reverse, and it goes forward or reverse. Pretty straightforward. And then actually both of these and the wheel are geared to the wheel and throttles upstairs. So that if I turn this, the wheel upstairs is actually physically turning right now, and so I can just switch between driving it from outside or inside whenever I want.
Very nice. And you've had a boating license for a while.
Yeah.
You're a man of the sea.
I'm a man of the sea. I sailed since I was maybe 6. My dad was in the Navy, and I've had a boating license since 17 or 16. I got my driving license when I was 20, in comparison.
Yeah, typical New York. Why don't we head towards the main bedroom, and I would love to ask you about the bedroom here versus a bedroom that you might find in New York. And we'll get into the rent prices, we'll get into the economics. Going down there.
So always be careful to watch your head on boats. The beds are about, a little over 6, and there's another 2, so I would say
Yeah, maybe 9 by 8 feet.
9 by 8 or something, yeah.
What are these steps?
There's a back entrance.
You all know Roy. Roy's been on the vlog before.
I mean, there's a full bed and a single bed. And then, like I said, every space is storage. So we have the drawers under the steps, all storage.
This is where you plan to sleep
That's the plan.
permanently.
Yeah, that's the plan.
How does this compare just to renting a bedroom with roommates?
So I like a lot of privacy. And then we even have a little bathroom in here,
Yep.
which...
Why don't you give us the bathroom tour?
Bathroom tour, all right. So it's called a head. On boats, you call the bathroom the head. And it's fully operational. You have to be careful. It's easily clogged, but it works fully. And then you actually have a shower head right here. And this room is waterproof, so you can take showers in here as well. So the water system needs to be set up a little better. That's one of the things I'll have to break in when I commission the boat in the spring.
So first off, getting into the economics of the boat, how much did you buy the boat for? How much is a place to actually park the boat? And then we'll use this as a benchmark comparison for just renting an apartment with roommates in New York City.
Definitely. So the boat cost $20,000. It was a used 1977 trawler is actually the type of boat it's called.
Cool.
And the outside's actually not in super great condition. It's something I'm going to work on myself. So it's definitely a fixer-upper, but functionally it's very sound, and that's actually why I bought it. I wanted something that was spacious and comfortable.
It's not going to sink.
It's not going to sink, but could use some cosmetic
TLC.
work, TLC, and that's fine, because I can do that, and I care more about the functionality and the livability. So $20,000 purchase price, and then where I am right now costs, I would say, so typically prices are seasonal, so you get the sort of warm season, which is May to mid-October, and then you get the cold season, which is mid-October to May. $3,000 or $4,000 a season, I would say, out here. I don't know, what is that, $500 a month? And then New York, I think it comes out to about $800 a month. And that's for actually a marina slip. So that includes internet and water. Getting to New York pricing, my intention is in the spring to bring it, we're in Connecticut right now, and to bring the boat to New York and moor it at Liberty, I think Liberty Landing Marina it's called. It's over on the Jersey side by the Colgate Clock. And that costs $10,000 a year, so the entire year, and that comes out to about $800 a month.
Awesome.
And
you just see that as your rent.
And I just see that as my rent.
Nice.
Right. And that is including utilities for everything. That includes electricity and water and everything else too.
I almost see this as like a tiny house purchase.
Yeah.
You know, you might purchase a tiny house in the tens of thousands of dollars, and then you get to live somewhat affordably after that.
And the benefit of the boat is you can live on the water side right next to Manhattan with a waterfront view for that same $800 a month rent, which is, I think, unattainable otherwise. This is a back entrance, so actually you can open this up and it can have the doors open and let light in. And so there's, 2 points of egress from any house, I think, is
nice.
Required.
From a code perspective.
From a code perspective. I'm not sure if the boats need to follow code, but from a safety perspective, it's always good to have 2 points of egress.
That's true. Do you ever worry about sinking in the boat?
No. These old boats were made before they had so many computer aided modeling tools, and so rather than knowing exactly how thick to make them, they just made them really thick. And so it's actually slow and heavy, but it's quite sturdy.
Nice.
And I actually prefer that because I don't really care about going fast. I just want the ability to move to a new location. It can take a while.
That's awesome.
For a single person apartment, I suppose, right? It's quite spacious. I think compared to places, studios I was looking at in New York, you can find nothing for $800, I've found, for a studio. But even sort of comparable price, this is way more spacious and cozy and clean. So as long as you're okay with being a little cold in the winter months, then I think that's all right.
So I slept on the boat last night. It was very cozy, very comfortable. It was a little bit cold.
Yep.
Do you have any plan? Are you going to be able to heat the boat somehow?
Yeah, so
You just buy a big comforter?
A mixture. So you sort of accept being cold sometimes, but also buy a space heater, and some electric space heaters are pretty efficient and affordable.
And how do you power those?
So at the marina, you're plugged into shore power.
Okay.
The alternative is to have propane-powered heating, which is more efficient, but requires restocking on propane. So.
And I know that you also have some solar panels around the boat. What are the solar panels for?
So they're not installed right now, but I have them, and actually I have a wind turbine too. And the idea is that if I was out for a week, let's say, at sea, going on a trip, you'd like to be able to maintain, keep electricity running without having to plug into shore. The boat does generate power when it runs its engine, and that charges the battery.
Oh, interesting.
So actually, I've never plugged it into shore, and its battery's never died because the engine powers the battery.
Right. Similar to a car battery.
It's just like a car, right? Just there's a lot more battery capacity for the boat because it has to run a lot of systems.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, why don't you show us the final room up there?
So that's the aft cabin back there. There's a boat lingo. And this is the fore cabin up here. So we can go in here. The aft cabin is definitely the master cabin. The fore cabin's a little smaller, typically used if guests on board or kids. Here's the anchor. It's spilling out of the compartment. It's called a V berth, which maybe you can see why. It's kind of a V.
Why don't you lay down and let the viewers see?
So it's definitely long enough even for someone who's basically 6 feet like me.
Yeah. This is nice.
There are these cute little shelves right next to you, so you can have books here. So this is a little skylight that's covered up right now, but you could take the cover off and have a sky view.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't feel claustrophobic either. It feels cozy, if anything, with lots of charm and character and all of that good stuff.
I think the trick is a lot of it's the wood and sort of the dark varnished wood gives it a more refined feel and a cozy feel, rather than it being metal or concrete or whatever else, right?
And what are those noises that the boat's making?
So you got to be okay with some random noises on the boat. It's quite windy outside right now.
Yeah.
You have to be used to the wind noises and the water noises and the boat groaning sometimes.
And then what are these areas over here?
So this is another bathroom.
Oh wow.
This is that's a chemical toilet right now. I'm probably going to remove that and make this into a laundry room. I have a laundry dryer combo unit I'll put in here.
Nice window in the bathroom.
Nice window in the bathroom. You can open the windows and get some fresh air.
Cool. And is there a shower in this one as well?
This one does not have a shower. You could rig up a shower, but right now there's not.
No. Makes sense. So, cool. Anything else you want to say about the inside of the boat?
No, I was really impressed when I was looking at different boats how nicely kept this one was. A lot of them, the insides are sort of not that nicely kept. And the previous owner lived here with his family, his wife and his son, for I think 2 years.
Wow.
Through the winters too, and it was in Connecticut, so it definitely got cold. And they had a little space heater, and they had lots of blankets, and they were fine. And he was actually one of the ones who told me a lot about the economics and said he had saved a ton of money compared to living in a house.
Interesting.
And I think if you look at a boat as a liveaboard and as a money saver, that's true. Boats are a lot of money if you're just using it for pleasure because it does require a lot of repair and TLC. But if you're living on it, then all that is effectively your living cost, and it's less than you would pay for comparable rent.
And then at the end of the day, let's say you want to move back on shore.
Yep.
And let's say you don't want to do that. Do you feel comfortable in being able to sell this boat to another person, given its age, given its history?
Yeah, I think I do.
Its maintenance?
Yep, I think I do. I think hopefully I'll varnish the outside some, maybe increase the resale value. If I do sell it, and who knows if I will, I would try to make back my money. But certainly, I think even 2 years of living on it in New York would more than pay back the cost. And any difference is, I think, money well spent on good experiences. Yep.
Well, I've stayed on the boat 2 times now, and I can assure you that these are very good experiences. Duncan is sort of like a personal Airbnb concierge experience extraordinaire for me and my friends. So we appreciate that. But we pay him in sake, so it's fair. It's fair.
I've made myself able to mooch off of their living space as well.
I guess that's the inside. Should we do a quick outside tour?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
So, except be careful. This comes up.
This side's very narrow.
Yeah. It's a little flaked here. You could use a little work. I take this small boat. I bought the frame, that metal hull, for $300 on Craigslist. I used it to get from the marina over there to the boat.
This mooring, as it's called, is a little bit more affordable than actually docking.
Yeah,
on
so
the dock.
moorings are 2/3 the price, sometimes half of an actual dock slip. You don't get shore power, you don't get shore water. Obviously, you have to take a dinghy out whenever you get on the boat. But there's, other than price, there's some other benefits, and I like the privacy. I like the fact that I really am, find myself out here, and you can have people on board without worrying about bothering your neighbors so much. So I think there's a lot of good trade-offs for it. Just like back there, there's actually a set of controls up here.
Approximately how fast does this boat go?
8 knots is sort of cruising speed. I think that's probably 10 to 12 miles per hour. So it's very slow.
So driving it to New York is going to take you how long?
3 to 4 days.
Wow.
Yep. The point is not that you can go anywhere fast. The point is that you can go anywhere without having to repack and unpack, right? You can take your home with you and enjoy the journey.
Are you quoting Pirates of the Caribbean right now?
I am not quoting Pirates of the Caribbean at the moment.
Maybe unintentionally.
Maybe unintentionally. So, it's under the floor, actually.
Wow. That's a New York bedroom.
So you can go down there if you want. And the engine's all the way is back that way. It's actually decently complicated to navigate on the open seas, at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we did it. That's the whole boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you. This is awesome. I am excited that I am one of the friends that gets the privilege to come experience this boat. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I really
welcome.
appreciate it. Any lasting words?
I encourage many people to try it if you feel so inclined. Definitely is freeing. Definitely is a lot of work, but I think it will get some interesting stories. It's already had some generated some interesting stories and fun experiences in the short time I've had it. So certainly it was at least worth it from that front.
Cool. Yeah, hard work but rewarding.
But rewarding.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Again, feel free to ask us any questions, and we'll see you next time. Peace.